So good morning, Wisters. How is everybody doing today? I rather excited today because I haven't had 2 days off for the weekend in a long time. So actually having today off is kind of awesome. Anywho, hello, Miss Ronette. Good to see you. I'll wait a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to get to going. Hello, Miss Ronette. Give it a couple of minutes for people to come on, and then we're going to get her started. Looks like we have Chelsea. Oh, it says 3. I don't know why it never shows us everybody that pops on, but whatever. That's Facebook for you. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hello, Miss Jacqueline. Thank you, Ronette. I feel really good today. Today just feels good. So, yeah. Anywho. Ooh. I started this morning with getting the house tidied up. That's just about done. I'm going to get the rest of the day to do crafting. Yay. One of my favorite things to do. Oh, I'm so glad to know that you're doing better. I think it has to do with, for all of us, or many of us, that, the full moon that we just had, it's huge transitional moon for us. And a lot of the down and pushing ourselves on the back burner and everything like that was a big transition this time around. And with this full moon, I just started to feel amazing. And I do today even more so. I went to bed last night feeling amazing. I woke up this morning feeling amazing. Yes, it is our turn, honey. Clean house always makes me feel better. Yes, ma'am. I have 3 dogs and there is hair everywhere. And so having a clean house does make me also feel much better. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to get started. I ended up posting late of what actual spell jar I'm going to do today because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I know that last month was our self-love month, but this morning I kind of I sat and I thought about it a little bit, and with feeling good and feeling the energy, I want to continue that and keep it going. So when I do my actual spell jar, I'm doing a self-love spell jar because I want to continue this feeling. I absolutely love it and I want to keep it going. So if the humans in this house make it more of a mess than my dogs, I can understand that. Anywho, so if you want to do this spell jar, what you're going to need is, of course, a jar with some sort of lid to be able to seal, clear quartz, dragon's blood incense, Himalayan salt, lavender, something written down for you, either an affirmation or a self-love quote, or basically anything that oh my God, words are disappearing from my brain today. Resonates with you. For some reason, my brain wanted to say resides, but I guess it would make sense too. Anywho, rose petals, rose quartz, and pink candle wax. Yes, Ronette, you knew what I was thinking. So those are the ingredients you'll need for the jar that I'm going to do, the spell jar that I'm going to do. Okay. So anyway, on to making a spell jar. I mean, the power of spell jars extends way beyond, purging of negative energy and or the attraction of romantic interests. I mean, there's so many things we can do spell jars for. Traditional folk magic often incorporates jar spells, also known as bottle spells or bottle charms. There's so many more uses besides baneful, or even though spell jars commonly involve cursing or even breaking curses. But they're not just casting love and attraction, like the one I'm going to do today is for me, self-love, right? So, anytime you pull up any type of spell, or someone gives you a spell, you can always adjust the ingredients and even procedures in a jar spell to meet so many different intents and purposes. And you could even include a ritual or not, or exclude a ritual. That's one thing that's awesome about spell jars, is you can totally make adjustments to make it fit you. That's what magic's all about, right? Always, 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 always make it your own. I mean, I am a firm believer that no matter what, you have it within you. You're in, there, you really cannot go wrong in magic, except for one thing. Make sure that your intent is clear, and make sure that you believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself that you can do it, of course, you're not going to do it. Those are the only things that you could do wrong in magic. It's not have your intent clear and not believe in yourself, right? So, my little mommy lecture rant, I guess. I've been told I've been doing that lately. So, how do spell jars work? The magic of a jar spell happens as you mix your components, add your intent, and seal the jar. The ability to recharge and reactivate jar spells again and again and again is a big reason for why they're so popular. You feel it needs a little bit of work, wherever it's sitting at, give it a little shake, whisper your intent to it again. You're just going to constantly keep it going, keep it moving. Don't let it become stagnant. If you're making a love spell jar, for instance, and the attraction is seeming to wane a little bit, you can simply pull out the jar, put more energy into it, and recharge it with anything. Another factor contributing to spells' widespread popularity is their aesthetic appeal. And they're cute, they're pretty. And they're easy to store. They're small enough that they're not easily noticed by other people. Especially if you don't want it to be noticed, right? And ingredients-wise, they're pretty easy to... A lot of them are just easy to get the ingredients. Okay, so your spell jar intent. You want to clearly state your goal, and that is the first and most obvious stage in any jar magic. Your spell's effects will be based entirely on your intention. In typical spell magical fashion, your motivation should be specific. Target your efforts specifically. Example, no wishing, no generalizing, no multi-purpose spells that's going to cover 12 or 13 different things. Be specific. The achievability should be a priority while setting objectives. So choose something that's just out of reach Be specific. Make sure that you think through your goal completely and carefully to ensure that it's something you truly want and something that you can live with going forward. Beth says they aren't as effective as the charged batteries. Exactly. Good analogy. Okay, so number 2 that I have is ethical. I'm not going to tell you what is and what isn't ethical, but I will say that you should always give some thought to your code of conduct, your personal code of conduct, and the repercussions of your actions. Follow your own morals based on how you practice and make sure that your spell feels right to you. I'm sorry, I need to grab a bottle of water. I think I absolutely love my incense, but I think I inhaled it too much too quick right now. Okay. So now I'm going to go into the steps of making your spell jar. Your spell jar container can be just about any type of container, and I preferably like to use glass. I think it's a great choice. It works great for me. Clay is really awesome. As long as the container is intact and the lid or cork can seal tightly, you should be just fine. So I have this one that is one of my spell jars that I did, and I constantly reactivate it. It's just a little mason jar, right? Cute little mason jar. And I walk by and I reactivate it every now and then. And then this is the one that I'm going to use today. I mean, a little appropriate. Heart, love. I use glass more than anything. Me too. I do try to use glass as much as I can. And every once in a while, I'll use metal. Like I've used little tins like this before too. But it just depends. I do prefer glass though. And a lot of my jars that I'm a big thrift store shopper. So I'm constantly looking or on the look for different jars and cute containers and stuff like that. But if I can't find what I'm looking for, I use Amazon if I have to. So yard sales here. Yes, yard sales for sure. Right now, we've been getting a lot of snow and a lot of rain, so no yard sales going on right now. But as soon as spring hits, I'm going to be out there, heel-toeing it, walking around and getting to them yard sales. I love them. Let's see. Do you do the jarred gravy sauces, or can you clean them after they've... Yes, absolutely. You could use the spaghetti jars or any food jars. You could use anything that you want for jars. Absolutely. It's better to get small glass bottles. Oh, I better get small glass bottles. I only have cleaned, recycled spaghetti sauce jars. Use those too. Absolutely. Salsa jar. Yeah. It's not so pretty snow-wise. The backyard kind of still has snow because it doesn't get much sun. But everywhere else is snow's melting. So that's kind of a good thing. Any jar will work. Exactly. Any jar will work. Yeah. I was actually given, and I believe this might be, this was in one of my, this was in my Pandora box, gifted to me. And it looks like an old perfume bottle. It's a really cool bottle, and I like it. When I finally get through the remainder of, or when I finally get through the oil that's in this jar, then it might become a spell jar. I just love the shape of it. It's really cool. So any jar. See, there you go. Lots of salsas, right? Yep. So in my notes, obviously, and it's what we're talking about, you can find empty bottles and jars by searching around your house, going to thrift stores, going to yard sales, going to, you could find them anywhere. You could use old food jars, sauce jars, salsa jars, anything like that. I've even used glass salad dressing jars, so it's entirely whatever you can get your hands on. The only thing to remember when you do use any of these containers is obviously clear its contents, clean them out really well, and cleanse it. Those are good little jars. The little single shot shooter jars. Yeah, great little jars. And you can get some pretty cool looking ones too. Okay, so there's our step 1 with the jars, right? Step 2, your jar contents. So this is the meat of your jar and choosing what to put in it. There's no rule what you have to include, but make sure it isn't anything that, or just make sure that it's something that's going to, or that the items are something that's going to assist you to achieve your goal. That's what matters. Different items that's going to assist you. If you want to go with all correspondence items, go for it. If certain items don't resonate with you, exclude them. No big deal. Find something else that's going to substitute, right? Exactly. And of course, if you're, depending on your intention, maybe you want to add more lavender than what your spell says. Maybe you want to add more moon water than what your spell says. It's entirely to you. I personally like to include odd numbers. Now, I am a really big even number person. Number 2 is my absolute favorite number. But when it comes to spell jars, I do odd numbers. It just hits deeper with me. So I like to use 3, 5, or 7 items. But you can even go deeper into numerology and use whatever number that makes sense to you and your specific jar. I think for today I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. I'm doing 7 today. Yeah, see? Personal items. Okay, so this is part of your contents, right? You might want to include a personal item such as a photograph, a strand of hair, nail clipping, drop of blood, etc. A written name is a viable option. And I'm not saying this, I don't want anybody to think, I know that most of the time we think we add these items for curses. Okay? Not just curses. We add these items for our own personal also, they could be used for, it's just about the connection. Adding a personal item adds more of that connection. But anyway, personal items, it should be anything that represents the target of the spell. If the spell is to be performed on yourself, you could even use a picture of yourself, an object that you're connected to, a little talisman, something, or even just your name written on a piece of paper. Okay? Let's see. Intentions or prayer. Write your intention on anything and put it in the jar, because words have power. We've said this before. Words have power. Writing a note to a deity, pleading for their help in a jar spell is very common, and it does help. You can also write a poem or a one-sentence statement or a couple-sentence statement, anything. Bree says pictures, hair, fingernails, bodily fluids, etc. Exactly. Absolutely. Liquids. So you may want to fill your container with liquid. Some spells require it, some do not. The one I'm doing today has no liquid. And of course, the specific liquid that you use is going to depend on your intention. Keep in mind that you don't need to use liquids. I actually often do use liquids, but this one doesn't have any, so it's okay. And then we go into the different types of liquids. So urine is used in jars for protection and breaking curses, but it can also be used to cast spells of control over other people. Vinegar, invoked to bring bad luck, injury, or spoil anything. Don't overfill vinegar jars, though, and store them wrapped in towels or linens, because unless you're going to bury it, because vinegar can be real strong, or even a freezer jar for vinegar. You could add something sweet to your jar. Trying to think, I believe Casey had posted in our Owls group, and maybe another thing that I saw about adding honey to any spell. There you go, Ronette. Exactly. Adding honey to your spell, and it helps to sweeten the spell. Sugar, yep. I've got sugar, water, nectar, honey, chocolate. You can add a piece of chocolate to your spell. Things like that. So anyway, can make a situation better. Use something sweet, because you want to sweeten someone's temperament. If you were attempting to win them over, make a sale, win an argument, or even calm down an argument. So anything that in your mind represents sweetness, you can use. Let's see, I have ammonia. When you need to start over with a clean slate or rid yourself of any lingering negativity or evil spirits, ammonia is the tool for you. Okay, definitely don't light candles on ammonia. And keep the ammonia jars far away from any source of heat. So it's another one that you have to be very, very cautious with, but it's very, very helpful tool for giving you that clean slate. Let's see. Then we go into solids. Solids. Your choice of your solids can be anything. It all depends on your intention again. Coins are ideally for money spells, and even more so, if you have or can find a coin that has your year of birth on it, even better. Always. Coins and coins that have your birth year on them are always great for bringing in some extra cash. Let's see, we've got healing crystals and herbs. Crystals and herbs are obviously two common materials, and they're both extremely potent in magic and easy to obtain. They come in many forms, many sizes, and you can transfer the power you intend to invest in your spell. I don't have any for this, but, you know, for like love spells, whether it be self-love or someone else's love, you know, when it comes to love spells, you could even do a spell to give you the job that you dream of, you know, for love of the job. Anyway, confetti, heart-shaped confetti and glitter are actually a pretty cool solid to be able to add to any type of love spell that you're doing. If you're, you know, curse breaking or curse giving, rusty nails and bits of glass are great tools to add to your spell. And writing things down. Pencil with a little roll of paper, roll your item in there. I've done this one before. I was stuck on a writing project, and I did one to help me with my creativity. And I wrote out, you know, with my creativity. I mean, putting our words on paper and getting it out there. You're putting it out there in the universe. It makes a world of a difference. Anyway, okay, so step 3 is fill your jar, right? Once you have all your ingredients, you may begin charging your objects. You can infuse each object with your intention before placing it in the jar, or simply put all of the objects in the jar, then infuse it with your intention. Charging infuses each item with your strength and awaken its inherent power, which you get to tap into. Make your jar even more potent by chanting while you fill it. I'm not big on chanting, at least not out loud, but in my head, I could be saying a word over and over and over again. It becomes a chant. Be very clear on your intentions. Absolutely. That's really the number 1 rule. Number 2, believe in yourself. Number 1, be very clear on your intentions. Rana, you are absolutely on it. Okay, step 4. Say words that boost power. So this is where we go into, you know, the chanting. Or even in your head or out loud, raising your voice in a chant is a great way to focus your intention. Bringing your voice up in, or you're, you know, placing your words in like a song-like manner. Also not only helps you to focus your attention, but also helps to raise your vibrations, which is going to help raise the potency of your jar. And you could learn a chant from anywhere. You could learn it from a book, internet, you know, pick it up from a spell that someone else had given to you, or write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect or pretty or rhyme or who cares. It doesn't have to be any of that. It could be a single word or phrase. Let's see. Then we have step 5, seal your jar. After you've filled your jar, you have 2 options. Either immediately seal it and then burn a candle on it, or light a candle in the jar's open mouth and to keep out the air to seal it. Well, candles are not always required for spell jars. They can be used to increase the effectiveness of the spell. So to use a candle in a jar spell, find a candle of the desired color. You can dress it by putting oils and herbs on it. You don't have to dress it. You can go simply by the color. Today, we're going by the color. It depends on your intention. It depends on how you feel, what you want to add to it, right? It's all up to you. Let's see. And then burn it in the jar's mouth or on top of the sealed jar until you've got as much wax as you want on there. Love using candles in all my spells. I do love using candles. I used to have candles burning all the time throughout the house, but then I married a fireman, so that got ixnayed. Now it's incense. I went from candles to incense, but I do still use my candles for my spells. I just have to make sure that they're never unattended. You could also light multiple candles at the same time. You could use multiple colors. No one ever said you had to just use one color. If you have colors that resonate with you and they feel good to you, but the spell that you were given by somebody or that you pulled off of the internet or you found in one of your books says one, who cares? You want to add an extra one? Add an extra one. That's what I say, damn it. My sixth step is I wrote meditate on your intent, but a lot of times when people see or read the word meditate, they think that they need to sit down and, in absolute silence or maybe with just some music in the background, and actually sit and meditate. Okay, when I say meditate on your intent, I don't mean it like that. I mean just focus on your intent. A meditation can be 2 or 3 seconds. It doesn't matter. That's what meditation is, right? It's focusing on cleansing, focusing on purifying, focusing on, the calm. And that's what you're doing. You're focusing your intent. Ronette says, you are correct. Absolutely. There's no correct way. Everything is about you, and that she loves making her own spells. I do too. I don't do a lot of spells. I do jar spells. I don't do a lot of spells. I do a lot of, I guess I want to say I do more daily, momentary rituals. I don't know. But you know what? In all reality, those are spells too. So maybe I do spells. Anywho. So you want to focus on your intent and visualize what you want and feel the desire for what you're wanting. And while you're doing that, picture yourself succeeding and achieving your objective. Instead of visualizing yourself as a person who wants something, visualize yourself as the person who is already receiving it. You have it now. It's in your hands. It's in your life. It's yours. Okay? When we're putting everything together, we want it. When we're collecting all of our ingredients, we want it. When we're doing our jar spell, we now have it. And we feel it. We feel it emotionally. We feel it physically. You might even get tingles down your spine or on your shoulders or, I know that I do. It's spell jars are an amazing way to help with manifestation. And part of what we're going to do today. So you do want to focus and picture yourself already having achieved what you're desiring. Try to do this for at least a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time. A few minutes is fine. But as long as it's enough that, as long as it's long enough that you feel enough energy has been infused into your jar. Sometimes I like to put my hands around the jar when I do this. I feel like I'm shoving that energy into that jar. And I know I say that aggressively because I am. I'm telling it, you're going in there. Exactly, Bree. Write your petitions as though you already have it. Don't say I will. Don't you always say I have. You know, I am, I have. Not I will, not I want. You already have it. You already are. Yeah. And you're right, Rana. Yes, I am. I'm shoving that energy into that jar. And I even imagine, like, not a wish. Exactly. It's not a wish. Anyway, when it comes to putting the energy in the jar, sometimes I even imagine that I've created a ball of energy around the jar, and it's just shoving it into there, you know. So anyway, yeah. Okay, so and then save your jar, put it wherever you feel comfortable to put it. This jar I'm going to actually put in front of my mirror in my bathroom, so that every time I see it, it reminds me, if I feel I need to wake it up a little bit, I can grab it and give it a shake. But I also want to put it in front of a mirror for two reasons. One, I want to use the mirror to amplify it. Two, I want to use the mirror so that every day when I'm getting up and I'm, you know, in the bathroom getting myself ready for work or ready for the day, not only do I see the jar and it reminds me of the self-love that I'm putting into the jar, but I'm seeing my own face in the mirror. It's kind of like I'm using it as an amplifier and a constant reminder. So that's why it's going there. You put it wherever you want it. It is entirely up to you. But that's where mine's going. I have one for protection that's buried right outside my front door. Right at the bottom of the steps, actually. So it's not right outside the front door. Can you put a spell jar out to be charged by the full moon? Absolutely you can. You can, I do have moon water, and you can add moon water to your spell jar. This was another Pandora gift. I so love this jar. I have my moon water up top. But yes, you absolutely can. I love charging by the moon. So, I mean, you do whatever you want. So with all of that, let's see. I do want to get on with the spell jar real quick. But before I do that, let's see. I want to go over a couple of other little quick things, and then we're going to do my spell. Or then I'm going to do my spell. So, what to do with your jar? After using your jar magic, you can do a few things. It can be dismantled. It can be kept on your altar, buried, hidden. Your goals, whatever goals you have for this jar, is pretty much going to be what determines what's best for what to do with your jar after you've put it together. Oh, I have moon water. This has been so informative. You're very welcome. Consider burying the jar if you hope to permanently shield yourself from harm or to dispel or break a curse. This will serve as a guard at your home and keep potential intruders at bay or the property of the person for whom you're doing the spell for. Bury it in a flower pot or soil if you don't really have any land. That's okay. Flower pots work amazing. Just outside you're protecting, right? This is also a better option if you're using materials that aren't biodegradable. But putting it in a glass jar, very helpful. You can hide the jar. We get that it's not always easy to bury a jar, especially in, larger city residential areas. And if this is the case, it's best to tuck it away in an unseen corner of the house. Kind of like the wall or back of a closet or up in a window sill or something like that. You can always hide it. If you believe the jar brings you good luck, leave it on your altar. Your aim is something that you'd like to keep working toward. And to keep the jar working, you could either keep lighting candles over it, opening it, shaking it, while repeating your chant. A shrine to your deity where you've prayed for help is another option. It is necessary to shake it every so often while chanting to maintain that force. And then I've got get rid of the jar if. So now that the spell's original purpose has been fulfilled, you wish for it to lose its potency. If you used a jar spell to attract a romantic partner and you're about to get married, you'd rather not have any other suitors, right? Which means you intend to break the charm. Take the items out and bury them somewhere dangerous, like a busy intersection or a stream. Prepare the trash can for disposal by washing out the container. You can clean it up, and you could also clean up your jar and put it away for another jar use, right? The only thing that I will kind of warn on is if you're unsure of what you're doing, it's not a good idea to dismantle a jar that was used for cursing or hexing. To dispose of that permanently, bury it near a busy intersection or get rid of it in a stream. Because if you don't do that properly, I feel it can come back to you. We don't want that. Anyhow, okay. And always keep your spell jar away from fire. Don't dispose of it by burning it. Some spells do involve fire, but you don't want to put your jar into the fire because that can shatter the glass and cause an accident. We don't want that either. Okay, let's see. Jacqueline, oops, open. There we go. If you want to bury a jar outside because you have a psycho neighbor and you want to protection, where would you bury it? Our houses are on top of each other where I live. In the woods. Yes, in the woods is also a good one. If you have like an area at your front door, even if it's just a very small landing, you can put a planted pot out there, or a potted plant. You can put a potted plant out there and put the jar inside there, and it's protecting your entryway. Or even if you have just a small balcony, or even like Ronette said, if they're the woods, but that could be anywhere. If you've got a common area, you could bury it there too. There's plenty. But it's illegal to bury your neighbors. Don't get caught. Yes, exactly. Don't get caught burying something in your neighbor's yard. But you can protect your own line. I plant my pots all the time. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute to move my phone, because I'm using my phone, over so I can focus down, and then I'm going to do my self-love jar. Just give me a second. see if I can get this on here. So we can see everything, hopefully. Okay, so I'm trying out my new stand. Let's see if this works. All right, so we're gonna go with step 1. I've cleansed my area. I'm down to very, very little of my dragon's blood incense, but I have completely cleansed my area with my incense. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, and I want to add it to my jar. This is why I use the dragon's blood, and I really want to get that in there. And everybody's different, but I like to get a little bit of that on my cork. And I apologize if I start shaking a little bit. Everybody does this differently. It's entirely up to you. And then I like to continue to let my incense burn a little bit. All right, so I have my dragon's blood incense. I am going to, can you see my, there we go. I'm going to add my Himalayan salt. And it doesn't matter. You can either, I'm going to use quite a bit actually. Come on. A little bit of powder. Okay, we've added our Himalayan salt. Let's get that down in there. Uh-oh, where'd my, oh, my lavender. I'm like, where'd my lavender go? We're gonna add our lavender. Oh, my little spoon might be too much for it. That feels about right. Maybe a touch more. Put that back up there. Then we're going to add our rose petals. And mind you, I have my little note over here. And while I'm adding all of my ingredients, I'm actually saying in my head the 2 phrases that I wrote on my note. So you can do a chant. It's entirely up to you. I like to always say things in my head. And so while I'm, like I said, adding my ingredients, I am saying, those 2 don't want to go in. I am saying the words that are on my note. That's why the note has not been put in there yet. Now I'm going to add my rose quartz. Or yeah, and I'm just going to add a couple of chips of rose quartz. 1, 2, 3. This is where I go into my odd numbers. Then I'm going to add my clear quartz. And because it's another piece, we want to amplify. Like I said, everybody is completely different how they do it. That's that. Now, I'm going to take my note, say my words to myself. I'm going to say my words out loud now. I am enough. I have what I need within me to receive my dream. I am enough. I have everything within me to receive my dream. I like to fold the paper multiple times, always folding it towards myself. Everybody does it a little differently. And in the jar it goes. Now, was going to light my candle, but I thought we're going to add a little bit more of that incense to there. I love dragon's blood incense. It is amazing. Now let's light our candle. And we're going to seal our jar. Sometimes this takes a couple of minutes. This is a brand new candle. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah, you just want to go everywhere. And if it makes a mess, who cares? That's the fun part about this. I'm going to just get some little drips on the outside of it. Maybe I need to flip it, get it going faster. There we go. Now we're really going to go for it. And seal your jar. And while I'm doing this, I am still saying in my head my 2 phrases that I wrote. When you seal your jar, it doesn't have to be beautiful, it doesn't have to be pretty, it could be sloppy, because none of us are perfect all the time. Neither are our spells. On that note, there we go. Now I can't keep the candle going, but I can keep the incense going. And again, we're going to shove that energy into our jar. Same for me, saying in my mind my phrases that are written on that piece of paper. Concentrate your intent. Thank you. We got a cute little jar. And this is going to go in my bathroom. Okay, now let's take this off of here. Maybe. Oh, come on. Ah! Hi, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope everybody is open to doing this one. It's simple. It's such an easy one. And I do have quite a few more that I do. I have one for protection. I have one for sleep. Let's see. I have one for love, which I don't hardly use. I mean, I have it. I think I don't use the love one to bring love to me. If I feel like Brian and I are starting to get a little stagnant or whatever, I'll do this one. Anyway, I do have one for good luck, happiness, a happy home, health, get rid of bad vibes. I have one at work, and it's got smoky quartz in it to keep the bad vibes away. I even have one for my creativeness, my crafty art, and productivity when it comes to that. I put one together for my daughter for anti-anxiety, and then of course I have one for abundance. I mean, who doesn't, right? Actually, I know a few people who don't, so. You can do a sugar jar to keep love in your home. Yes, you can. And I actually do have a sugar jar, and it's actually got a couple of bits of lavender inside of it. And I love it. And it smells amazing too. So, and every once in a while, I just walk around and give it a shake. I always shake it up when my when a couple of my 5 kids are having a tiff with each other and I know that they're all coming over, I'll give it a bit of a shake, and it seems to work really well at keeping the peace in my house when they're having a tiff with something, whatever. Anywho, if there's any of the ones that I do have that anybody would like, just let me know, and I'll give it to you. I have no problem sharing. I love to share. Other than that, if we have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Or if you guys still want to keep on commenting, because I know that we have a lot of people. We in our group have so many varieties of witches. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. And the sisterhood that we have is just the strength and the power is amazing, and everybody's willing to help each other all the time. Let's say years ago in the old group, Zoe did one that you still have. You know what? I think I still have Zoe's love spell also that she did. And then I believe I actually still have written down the money spell that Chantrice did. So yeah, hey, they come in handy. Thank you so much for the making of this video. Being a new witch, I appreciate you taking time out to help us new babies. You are more than welcome, honey. And I mean, we do have a lot of experienced witches on here. And everybody is willing to help each other out. Ronette is a wealth of knowledge. She's absolutely amazing. She's always so helpful during our lives. I love it. And yes, Bree, I will get the spells to you. What I should do is actually just take pictures of my sheets and I'll just post them on so anybody that wants them can print them out and have them. Yes, Ronette is correct. Do not be afraid to ask questions. We're all here. If I don't have the answer, someone else does. If I may have an answer, but it could be different than what someone else has, than another witch has. We all do things differently. We all want the same outcome, you know? So, anywho, yes, Bree, you are correct. We are all learning all the time. And if anybody says that they're done learning, I feel sorry for them. Because I don't think we should ever be done learning. I still learn new things every day, and I absolutely love it. On that note, I'm going to let everybody enjoy the rest of their Saturday, and I'm going to get back to it, and this baby's going right in front of my mirror. Anyway, many blessings, everybody. Can never stop learning. Yep, absolutely. Many blessings. Have an amazing weekend. Love you guys.